Hash, a real-life story. The elderly and the journey to overcoming depression. I am Helen, 72 years old. If someone had told me a year ago that I would suffer from depression, I would have laughed. I used to think depression was something that only affected young people, those burdened with too much pressure in life. But then, as my children became busy with their own lives, and my friends slowly passed away, I started to feel empty. And I realized that depression does not discriminate by age. The early days of loneliness and sadness. Everything started when my husband passed away. We had spent more than 40 years together, going through countless ups and downs. But when he left, I felt like a part of me was gone too. The house suddenly became cold and empty, and I found myself eating meals alone in silence. My son and daughter-in-law are very filial, but they are too busy. My grandson has grown up, has his own life and friends, and rarely sits down to talk with me anymore. At first, I tried to adapt to the loneliness, but as time passed, I felt increasingly lost in my own home. Signs of depression. I started losing interest in the things I once enjoyed. I used to love reading the newspaper every morning, but now they just sit there collecting dust on the table. I used to enjoy walking in the park near my house, but then I no longer wanted to go out. I had trouble sleeping, lost my appetite, and some days I didn't even want to get out of bed. I didn't want to share my feelings with anyone. I was afraid my children would worry, afraid that people would think I was just an old woman overthinking things. I kept my sadness to myself, but the more I suppressed it, the bigger it grew. A turning point from an unexpected meeting. One day, I happened to run into Mrs. Susan, a friend I hadn't spoken to in years. She asked if I wanted to join a senior club. At first, I refused. I didn't think meeting other elderly people would help me in any way. But Mrs. Susan didn't give up. She came to my house every week, inviting me for walks and conversations. Slowly, I started to feel more at ease having someone who genuinely listened to me. After much persuasion, I decided to give the club a try. There, I met many people who had experienced the same loneliness and depression. Together, we exercised, talked, and shared life experiences. I realized that I was not alone. Things that helped me overcome depression. 1. Opening up and sharing. I used to keep all my negative emotions inside, afraid of burdening my children or making others worry. I thought I had to deal with my sadness on my own, but the more I suppressed it, the emptier I felt. Conversations with my children were often brief, with them asking, "How are you today, Mom?" and me replying with a generic, "I'm fine," even when my heart was heavy with sorrow. After meeting Mr. Tam and receiving encouragement, I decided to change. I started initiating conversations with my children, sharing my genuine thoughts and feelings. I also reached out to old friends, checking on their health and reminiscing about old times. To my surprise, they were all happy to hear from me, and I realized I was not alone. Opening up made me feel much lighter, and I felt the love and care of those around me. 2. Participating in social activities. I used to stay at home all the time, and my days felt repetitive and silent. But then, I realized that isolating myself only made me feel worse. I decided to engage in social activities to bring joy back into my life. I joined a book club, where I could talk and share thoughts with like-minded people. Every week, I also joined a morning walking group, which helped me stay active and socialize. Occasionally, I helped my neighbors with small tasks like babysitting or watering their plants. These activities made me feel useful, like I was still part of a community. Most importantly, I no longer felt alone. 3. Taking care of my health. I often felt tired, sluggish, and unmotivated. My eating habits were irregular, I didn't sleep well, and I barely moved around. But then I realized that if I wanted to have a strong mind, I needed to take care of my physical health first. I started by walking every morning, just a few laps around the nearby park. At first, it was difficult, but over time, I felt my body becoming more flexible and my spirit more uplifted. I also improved my diet, cutting down on greasy foods and adding more vegetables and fruits. Additionally, I made sure to get enough sleep, avoiding late nights, and practiced relaxation techniques with light exercises. As my body became healthier, my mood improved. I felt less anxious and more energetic to enjoy life. 4. Learning to use technology. I always thought smartphones and social media were for young people. I was hesitant to learn because I feared I wouldn't be able to understand them. But then, my son patiently taught me how to use my phone to make video calls, send messages, and access social media. At first, I struggled, frequently pressing the wrong buttons or losing my messages. But over time, I got the hang of it and realized how useful technology could be. Thanks to it, I can video call old friends and chat with my grandchildren, even when they are far away. I also joined online communities for seniors, where I could learn new things and share experiences. Now I no longer feel isolated. Technology helps me stay connected with the world, making me feel valued and not left behind. A message to others like me. If you are feeling lonely or sad, remember that you are not alone. Open your heart, seek support from family and friends, or participate in activities that help you feel more connected. Depression is not the end. It is just a phase, and you can overcome it with enough love and encouragement. For me, life goes on, and I am learning to cherish each day in the most meaningful way possible.